What up, fellas? Ladies, gents, whoever's here. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Need a million days.
I got tires on the line. Sting your body, then you die.
To the chicken, get in there with a whole time. When they see it, all time. When the genies, the money genies. Where about the yeah, twist it up, roll a Dutch, yeah.
I got tires on the line. Sting your body, then you die. I got fire on my line. You don't see that for me verified. Different than you want to ride time. Promise you like a million ride. Fuck a bus, Rolls Royce. Twist it up, roll a Dutch. I got tires on the line.
Yeah, spin your body. Take a ticket, whatever it was, the whole time. Alright. I wanted to make this video because I realized that most men are stuck. Most men are kind of in a position, or whatever the case may be. I want to talk about why most men are stuck. And then I also want to talk a little bit of thoughts on starting over from zero if you need to. I realized the anger and frustration I got regarding the Antoine Daniels is not necessarily because of Antoine Daniels. It's because men falsely put other men on a pedestal in their own lives because of whatever perception or image they perceive from said man. A lot of men, it's not just women, a lot of people just in general live through others online or social media. And don't get me wrong, I can say I've probably had a little moment of that over the last 5 years, being overly caught up in YouTube and what's going on in the YouTube world. And it's like, the more I actually stepped outside, went door knocking, cold calling, the more I was like, yo, nobody is talking about alpha male, beta males, passport bros, or any of that shit in real life. Like in real life, nobody cares. On YouTube, in this silo, because the algorithm feeds you what it knows you, so the algorithm is going to feed you what you are, what you know, or what you're into. And so social media, especially YouTube, may seem like the world is moving in this direction and everybody, but it's really just a facade based upon the algorithms feeding you shit. And if you're not comprehending that, or if you don't see that, or if you don't just have a separate YouTube account. I have numerous YouTube accounts. Now, if I have smoke static or whatever for anybody, I use this account because I have a very unique icon, so you gonna know that's me, okay? I'm ready for smoke, you gonna know that's me. But I have numerous accounts where I have a real estate sales account where I type in nothing but real estate, and then the algorithm will feed me nothing but real estate. I have another account where it's just for music, and the algorithm will feed me just different rap songs of music and stuff like that. So I really, I sometimes forget. I try not to do too much entertainment on this account because the algorithm would just feed you whatever the fuck you're looking at. What's funny is that this morning I was looking at a story time with Reddit. Soldiers, what is your worst military wife story? And it's funny because it made me miss the military and all the shit, the drama that used to happen in the military is just crazy. The Jody letters and all this stuff. But anyway, with the whole Antoine Daniels situation, I realized that, one, again, let me just say this. My beef with the man is the fact that he was putting down passport bros, which are generally black men, and they're putting down black men for exploring options and figuring out life outside of America, outside the community, outside the hood of whatever everyone else is used to in America, okay? I also realize and understand that most men are not going to get this experience. Most men are not going to be in DR for 2 fucking weeks, having a great fucking time. Most men are not going to be able to travel and do these stuff. It just is what it is. And so, fuck it, you know? Also, on top of the fact that the man has interviewed closeted homosexual, he flip-flops on his message. He's not as rich as he portrays to be, and all this other stuff. On top of the fact that he's never really said how he got his money. You know, I listen to a lot of success stuff because I've been studying success and people that are successful for over a decade. Okay, and anytime I listen or hear, everyone who's successful usually has a story or like a how they did it, and they gladly will tell you how they did it, whether through sales, whether through 5 years of a business, or struggling, or sleeping on the couch. He has no story of that because he didn't have to go through any of that. He got his money because his father passed. And again, I don't care how he got his money. It's unfortunate that a lot of males are going to follow the wrong ideas and the wrong people. And like, if he doesn't have a natural success story on how he built his shit, it's not gonna help you. Like, it's not gonna help you. But be that as it may, I personally don't care. Everything over the last couple of days, and again, I bring all this up because I haven't made a video on YouTube in over a month. If you could see the video, if you could see the history, I haven't made a video on YouTube in over a month. So I haven't really been, because I don't care. Not to say I don't care about content creation. It's just that's not my focus, you know. So I just haven't put up a video, and so the first video I put up in over a month is this shit criticizing Antoine, and then all these fanboys come to my channel. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I forgot I have to have the smoke on YouTube for these fanboys and shit, you know, because I went through the same thing when I made the video on Ava and Peach, and I might make that public just so I can kind of give some context to shit. Like, these niggas popped out of nowhere with feelings and stuff like that, and opinions, and I'm just like, nobody is saying anything relevant to what was being stated. Like, nothing. But again, these are the level of or the low level males of the internet who you can tell live through other men, you know. It is what it is. And again, it's only to me, it's only a sign of things to come or how things are going, because shout out to Jeremy. I'm going to talk about him on the Patreon. You know, we are going into a new economy, and this new economy is not based upon physical nature. It's not based upon working hard the way we have been taught and conditioned to believe we need to go forward and go do work. You know, it's not going to be driving the trucks or sledging the hammers or doing the low cleanup, general labor, standing behind a counter, sitting at a lot of all this stuff is being phased out by technology and the fact that the dollar is dying, the old economy is dying. They don't need a bunch of people to do all these things, and then people aren't consuming as they used to. So it's like, it's not as profitable to remain with certain business models anymore. If you're thinking about corporations, and then when you understand the fact that most people are employed by small business runs the economy, but then the economy is switching up so that you're not necessarily going to be able to start a small business. So there's so much going on, and I understand that a lot of what's taking place on the internet, as well as, you know, the pushback I've gotten, is because of the frustration of men, and because a lot of men just don't understand what's going on, or a lot of men have been asleep at the wheel for the last 10, 15, 20 years, you know, especially the millennials. You know, us 30 to like 45 or whatever the case may be, grew up on this hip hop era, this hood era, this wannabe tough guy era, straight losing, you know? Yeah, a lot of, and so-called melanin. And again, there's a lot of men that are winning, but overall, if you look at the numbers as a whole, a lot of what's happening is going to affect men more than women. You know, the truck drivers and trades will have trades will have a position for some time, but again, if you're not upskilling, if you're not figuring out how to integrate tech, and if you're just thinking about how to get a paycheck and work a job, which we've been conditioned to do, we've been taught to do, you're not going to make it. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna make it. It's gonna be harder for you. And then if you don't understand digital assets, if you don't understand blockchain, if you don't understand digital wallets, if you don't understand the digital economy we're going to, you're not gonna make it, you know? And then if you're not reading, if you're not studying, if you're not figuring out how to be a high performer, and we all have to perform, you know? There's a lot to it. So I understand that a lot of the pushback I get it's not necessarily because I'm dissing this person, or I wasn't even really dissing him. I was criticizing him, but it's more so people and their own inadequacies. You know, I had somebody come to my channel talking about this guy screams inadequate, and I'm like, you know, that's really weird, because it's like the only way you would be talking about inadequacy in this particular video is something regarding women. So then you're worried about the wrong things, like what's in my pants. And it's like, this is the type of level of males that come to my channel where it's like they're so focused on the wrong things. You know, you're worried about what's in my pants or if I'm a sex pat. Like, sir, I've earned the right to be here. I've earned the right to buy this trip, pay for this trip. I've literally spent maybe $3,000-4,000. Like, I showed you the books because I had to do the numbers yesterday, and I did my budgeting for the year. You know, for example, I spent, well, I mean, this year I've tithed $457 given out to people. I'm trying not to. Outside of child support, I spent $1,392.74 on my daughter. Outside of child support, just $1,300, $1,400 on my daughter. I've paid $2,600 in tickets for 2025. I've spent $42 in Metro cards. I paid $883 in tolls for the year. I've spent $2,000 in gas for the year. You know, I spent $480 on personal expenses for the home this year. I've tipped $272 for the year. I've spent $1,366 at the store randomly this year. I've invested $1,500 into my family for the year. My cousins, my father, whatever, giving them money. I spent $9,719.85 in business expenses for the year. So again, I've earned the right to be here, you know, and I'm serious about my business. I track my shit. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. I've earned the fucking right to be here, you know. Call me a sex pat, expat, whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. You know, I'm here on business. I'm here figuring out where would I want to live. Okay, because I'm like, yo, if I can get a nicer condo apartment, at least 2-bedroom, in case my daughter ever got to come or whatever the case may be. Get at least a 2-bedroom for 150 grand out here, and I own the shit. Airbnb, because I'm not thinking about necessarily making money, but make money. Airbnb the shit. Pour the plot, the sound of the whatever the case may be. Get 100 to 150 grand condo, 2-bedroom. Put up some money, and make that happen over the next year or two. That's what I'm thinking about. You know, how do I make sure I have a place in the States and out of the States? You know, I finished 2 whole books while I've been here, and I'm halfway in between 3 of them. Like, I'm halfway with this one, and Parks and Charcoal. Y'all into data? There's a chapter on data that I'm gonna read to y'all on Patreon within the next couple weeks. Very interesting stuff for this one. You know, so I'm halfway through this one. I got 20 pages left in this one. I'm half with this one. This the one I finished. This the one I finished. I'm not sitting here worrying about chicas all fucking day. You know, my interactions with women while I'm here is very piquito. It's like, it's for a couple hours, usually late at night, or I'm a night person. So when I'm here, I'll be up all night. But I come back from the club party, whatever we do, I'm back to reading, studying, and I go to sleep, wake up, do the same damn thing. You know, I'm working, I'm studying, I'm hustling, you know. And again, if you're not somebody who's been studying, hustling, or doing whatever, like educating yourself, if you haven't been educating yourself over the last 5-10 years, yeah, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be in a tough position. And again, I understand that's what the frustration is about with a lot of people. So real quick, I can't make this video too long because my computer can't handle it, and I didn't bring my hard drive, which is why I don't have a lot of content out, which I can't believe I forgot my hard drive. So real quick, thoughts on if I had to start over. If I had to, I can't even think about starting over, but I think it's really important that, number one, especially if you're 30 plus, you know, number one, I always say get into the trades, not because it's easy, but because they need work. They need workers, okay? But you're gonna start off at a shitty pay. The great news is that if you stick with it within a couple of years and you put your time into it, you search classes, you can easily get a raise and start making moves within the trades within a couple years, okay? Especially if you're starting off at zero. Do not get into anything expecting to make six figures in the first year, 2 years, unless you're in sales. And even then, it's gonna take some time. But especially when you're working a job or a trade, please. If you're more ambitious and you're willing to put yourself on the line and risk failure, get into sales. Get into selling something, you have to be reading. There's so much to it. Damn, I won't be able to say as much as I want to on this video regarding starting over, but this will be a brief kind of introduction into starting over. I'll do another video tomorrow. Before I leave DR, I'll have another video regarding starting over. But I'm just grateful because I didn't realize how impactful real estate was, but then I also didn't realize how, as much as they're trying to tokenize and do stuff with real estate, which they will do over the next couple of years, of course, the old property owners who own a residential building or a 4-family, 3-family, they're not necessarily thinking about tokenization. They might be thinking about selling. They might be thinking about just property, so real estate is a much slower industry than tech is and all these other industries that can be integrated with the economy and blockchain very quickly, whereas real estate is a very slow maneuver. And then there's a bunch of gatekeepers with real estate, but then it's also very, there's so much that impacts the economy with real estate. So they can't just change up everything and phase out real estate agents and all this other stuff and brokers. So one, I'm just grateful to understand my industry and continually educate and learn and have mentors and people that are speaking in my industry, because the internet is filled with people who are not in real estate, never bought a house or maybe bought one house, and they're dooming and all this stuff, and it's a bunch of nonsense. Once you really, I remember Patrick Bet-David, interest rates are going to 10%, the market's going to crash. I should have never, that was an hour wasted of my fucking time. I'll never listen to this motherfucker talk about anything outside of insurance ever again. That's just another learning lesson of, like the richest man in Babylon, he told the story about how some dude that wasn't in jewelry wanted to buy some jewelry. Like, you focus on people who are smart and know what they're doing in their industry. You focus on operators who's been operating in the industry for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years. Talking to people who are not in real estate about real estate doesn't make sense. Just like talking to people about tech who are not in tech but work in customer service or some shit does not make fucking sense. You really got to focus and figure out, like, what asset are you going to focus on and stack for the next 10 years and go all in on that asset and learning. For the last couple of years, I've been stacking, but I've been diversified across, I've been diversified across gold and silver, diversified across crypto. I have a small portion in stocks. I've been building up a real estate fund, but I'm not trying to use that. I'm learning how, if I actually do what I plan to do, which is get somebody to give me the 50 grand as a loan, I basically create an infinite return by not using my own money. So keep whatever I have invested, get somebody else to give me the money to buy the 4-family. Like, my return is exponential, where my money is not locked up in the deal. And so that's what I'm focused on. Right now I'm creating a presentation regarding, I'm going to pitch to a bunch of investors, friends, family, agents, brokers, everybody. I'm going to pitch to everybody, where I'm building a whole presentation of, these are the houses I've sold over the last couple of years. These are the deals I've given to investors. This is the money they've made off of it. This is what I'm going to do. This is how you can benefit. This is the, basically a whole proposal of making something happen and getting a loan to buy the first property. And then once I get the first, it's a wrap. Because understand, the first one leads to the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And it's funny because I was watching The Banker last night. It was 1 a.m. I'm watching The Banker. Such a fire movie. Such a fire fucking movie. If you've never watched it, you got to check it out. And he was door knocking, but not as a broker, but as an investor. He was door knocking. Hey, I want to buy your house, and how much? And can you and he was all great at math, and and great fucking movie. I might watch it again just to get hyped, because that's what I see for myself. And again, I get it. Most men are stuck. As I'm sitting here, folks don't understand, this journey started back in 2008, 2009. Me coming home from the military and me feeling lost. And I prayed to the Most High for wisdom and knowledge, and just like Solomon did. I prayed for wisdom and knowledge, not money, but wisdom and knowledge and the ability to make the right decisions. And it's been a trying experience over the years, but it's been a great fucking journey. And unfortunately, most men have not taken their own personal journey. Most men have been living their journey through somebody else online or through hip hop or whatever the case may be, especially as melanated men. We've been living falsely through others. And I feel it for these dudes who gotta find their way, you know, on their own, and however that looks. Especially doing it at 30 is hard. You know, I did it at 18, 21, 23, and that was a whole little moment because, you know, you're young. I was in the military, and my daughter and relationships, and then that didn't work. You know, I got that out of my system early. So now at 35, it's like, nigga, I already know what you don't know. You know, I don't have to go through the marriage wheel to kind of figure out, okay, like all women are on the spectrum, just like men, you're on your own spectrum. You know, life is fucking beautiful. But I empathize with the fact that a lot of people are behind, and I won't say it's late. It's late. It's not too late. It's late. As gold and silver gets up, to me, as gold and silver keeps climbing, like that just shows that timing is running out, because the goal at the end of the day is to stack assets. And if you're not stacking assets, don't already have assets, and then if you don't come from a family that has assets, you know, I'm grateful that my parents didn't buy a house, or my grandmother bought a house, and even though they're going to possibly sell that, I'm going to make sure I get a little piece of that. But at the same time, I'm already stacking and doing what I need to do, so that once that happens, it's not even a factor. It's just extra gravy, you know. But again, all of this is long-term planning and thinking. I'm thinking five moves out. I'm thinking 5 years ahead. I'm thinking beyond the property, and if they want to sell or buy, I'm thinking plans for each, if they decide to keep or if they decide to sell. If I had to move, or boom, 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 boom. I'm thinking ahead on different levels. And how does that look? You know, the only real variable right now is the child support. It's because the more I make, the more they take, and I got to kind of play around with that. You know, I can't be seen in a certain car. I can't do this or do that, and you know, I got to kind of be hidden and all this shit. But I'm figuring out how to maneuver, and it's because I started a decade plus ago, learning, reading, studying, listening to people that are much smarter than me, and people that actually have a track record, not people that pretend through fancy items as if they've done this or that, but they actually have a story, and their story is real. You know, you can go on my Instagram and see, like, I've sold these fucking houses and these buildings. I did that shit, you know. I'm just at a point where I'm like, okay, I have the seed capital, I have the relationship capital. How can I leverage these things and finally get into something that I should have been in from years ago, but I was fearful, and I also didn't have the proper resources, not even just in terms of capital, but everything's just lining up now and stuff like that things are working in my favor. So, but again, I've been working on this shit for years. It's not I just woke up, and again, you have to figure out what is your thing, what is your field, what are you gonna dive into and choose to seek to become the best in. I want to become the best operator. I want to become the best broker. I want to become the best salesman. Yeah. So what is your thing? You know, and if you have never thought about it, or if you've been playing pretendo or not focused on it, yeah, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be upset. You're going to be behind right now. You know, so I'm going to make another video about starting over from zero, because this video is way too long. But I just want to share some thoughts. And listen, I'm not angry. I know in the comment section it may seem like I'm going off, but I'm passionate about, nigga, if you come to my channel with smoke, I got smoke for you. And you're not going to fucking out-talk me, especially when I know I'm right on shit. If I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. I've said I'm wrong in the comment section on videos. But when I say what I said about Antoine Daniels and the dick riding he be doing, and the unnecessary fucking judgment of men who are trying to figure out life and not do what the fuck the older men have done and left them stuck, and you're misjudging, yeah, I got smoke for you. But listen, I'm having a great time. I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm supposed to leave tomorrow. No, I'm supposed to leave on Sunday, the 28th, but I'm gonna stay a couple days. I'm gonna stay an extra couple days, just so that when I get back, like, I'm focused and ready on work. Because once I get back, it's cold. It's gonna be cold out there, but I'm still gonna have to get up and make shit happen in the cold with layers stacked up and all that stuff. And so making sure that I got a plan, my mindset is in the right place. I'm not thinking about women. Get everything I need to get out now, do everything I need to do now, so that I am willing to sacrifice a year, 2 years, 3 years, just like I already sacrificed before. Sacrifice another season to go to another level. And then when I get to that level, it's like, okay, cool, enjoy it for a little bit. All right, what's the next sacrifice? You know, so for me at this point, it's like, all right, I really believe that I could be a millionaire in 5 years. And I'm not going to talk about it because that defeats the purpose, you know? So I'm not going to be making consistent content on YouTube. I'm going to be putting videos up on Patreon, but then I'm going to be careful about even releasing what I'm doing because it shouldn't be spoken about until it's done, you know? So that's just where I'm at, man. Life is good. All glory to the Most High. Yo, Charcoal Sauce to you, man. You made a comment yesterday about a lot of people drinking from the whore of Babylon, and when you made that comment, man, I got on my knees and I prayed to the Most High and gave him the praise, the glory, and stuff like that because I'm a nobody. Whatever. Who am I? Who am I without him? You know. So I appreciate being around smart young men making things happen. You know. Y'all motivate me to make sure that I am the man worthy enough to get in front of camera and make certain statements based upon how I'm living my life and what I'm doing. And I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to give you some religious type of, you should live like this, live like that. This is my journey. This is my story. Everybody's going to do what the fuck they want. And that's that. So, yeah, have a great day. Y'all take care of yourselves.